So that's the topic for this this play along. So there's some interesting stuff in here. We're going to have a different solo phrase and a different groove from the last couple of times. So let's start to look at the groove first of all. So we're staying in 8/4 or Arditala, and we're dividing 16th notes into 3/3/2, like this. So this is going back to our very early lessons. 3 1 3 1 3 1 1 3. So group of 3, group of 3, group of 2. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. So we can play that just open without any glissando. Three, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3. And then with a bit glissando, if you want to bring that in. Just gently squeezing. And it would work out in this way, because you're going to have the pulling for the glissando when you strike the 3-fingered close stroke. Just that far. Or just open. Both sound cool. Don't want to get too busy with the left hand. It's very subtle. So 3 3 2. Now we're going to have a solo phrase that comes in to this groove. It's very, very easy. Ta, di, ta, ka, di, na. Ta, di, ta, ka, di, na. This goes back to some of the earlier lessons when we were looking at the broken 16th and 8th note patterns combined. Ta, di, ta, ka, di, na. 3 1 3 1 1 3 3 1 3 1 1 3 3 1 3 1 1 3. Ta di ta ka di na. 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 So this is the solo phrase. So we're going to have the groove 3 times. And then we're going to have the solo phrase come in. So with the takita dinaka dinna, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka dinna, ta di taka dinna, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka dinna, ta di taka dinna ta. Takita dinaka dinna, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka dinna, ta di taka dinna, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka din, takita dinaka dinna, ta di taka dinna. So pretty straightforward. The next phrase is, instead of ta di taka dinna, we're going to have di taka dinna. So we've just taken the first note off of it. Di taka dinna instead of ta di taka dinna. Di taka dinna instead of ta di taka dinna. Now ta di takadina can be with 3-3 if you want. It can be 3-1. It really doesn't matter actually. Ta di takadina. I do the one fingered for the second note, but it's optional. So now with the amended phrase, takita dinakadina, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, ta takadina, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, ta takadina. So that's the next one. The next one is without ta or di, it's just takadina. Takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadina, ta takadina, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadina, ta takadina. Now you can end on ta if you want, or you can end on the double in the bar before. So this is ending on the double, the bar before. Takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takadina, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadin, takita dinakadina, takadina, or with the ta as I did it earlier. So then we have the korepu, where each phrase comes in half after one groove, so half the distance from before. So the first part, takita dinakadina, ta di takadina, takita dinakadina, ta di takadina. Second part, takita dinakadin, ta takadina, takita dinakadin, ta takadina. And then the third part, takita dinakadina, ta takadina, takita dinakadina, ta takadina. Or if you want to not do the ta, takita dinakadin, takadina, takita dinakadin, takadina. And then we're going to move on to the ending. So the ending is very slightly more elaborate. Nonetheless, it's very easy. So what we're going to have is our first phrase, ta di takadina, with 1/8 note afterwards. So ta di takadina tom. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom. 4. Ta di takadina tom. 4. Ta di takadina tom. So just get used to that phrase. Then the next phrase, di takadina tom. So instead of ta di takadina, we have di takadina. Di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. And then takadina tom. So di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Takadina tom. All together in one line. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Takadina tom. That's the first part. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Takadina tom. First part again. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom. Di takadina tom. Takadina tom. So the third tom is 3 beats long, 3 notes long. Ta di takadina tom, di takadina tom, takadina tom, tati kita tom, tati kita tom ta. So 3 beats long for that tom, then 3 groups of 5. So phrase 1 and the tom, phrase 2 reduced and the tom, phrase 3 reduced more, and the tom equal to 3, and then 3 groups of 5. So with the time cycle, 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom, di takadina tom, takadina tom, tatikina tom, tatikina tom. So there, you see, we're ending in the middle. So this is actually going to become a larger composition. So let's get comfortable with that phrase now, but basically that whole thing will repeat 3 times and will land on the downbeat, or the sum as it's called, SAM in Indian rhythm. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta. So tati kita tom, we know that. I probably don't even need to say it again. 3, 1, 3, 3 tom. Same as before. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta. So that's the structure of it. Now the way this is put together is slightly more of a North Indian structure. Would be called a chakradar in North India, and this is a whole phrase. 3 groups of 11 equals 33, so 32 plus a downbeat in 8/4 or adital or tintal, whatever time cycle you're in that is that long. So this actually is 11 beats long. So if we count the number of beats, ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom, 11. So that's 11 beats long. So if we start it again and we repeat that whole thing 3 times, then that last tom will become the downbeat. So I'll show you with the clapping cycle. Bear in mind, we know how to play this technically. We know how to play it in time. And you've just got to have the gap of 4 at the end, which is easy because it's just one, lands on a quarter note and starts on the next quarter note. So it's actually very, very straightforward. 3, 4, and ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta. 1. Back to the beginning. That's where, when you've done this, you've played the groove, you've introduced the phrase, you've played the conclusion, the ending, then you're back into the next groove. So if we started out with ta dim na ta ta dim in a previous one with an ending, you do the T high, the arudi, ta ta dim into the next groove, into this next composition, whatever. So you piece it all together. It all gets pieced together. And of course, if it's 2 different percussionists soloing, they'll take turns. So you'd finish here, the next person would start. Then when they finish, it comes back to you, and it gets shorter and shorter as the whole sort of solo progresses. So playing wise, we know how to do this because it's all really easy phrases. Ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tom tati kita tom tati kita tom ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kina tom tati kina tom ta. So the gap of 3, ta ga. Remember for 5 we had ta ga. 3 ta ga. 4 ta ah. So we have all of those in there. Ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tati kita ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita tati kita ta ta di takadina tom di takadina tom takadina tom tati kita ta. So there we can see the structure of it. For this play along, there's also an alternative ending. Now this refers back to the lesson that we had when we were adding density to different phrases. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We were slowly adding 16th notes and making the phrase, denser. So, for example, instead of tati kena tom, we had kita tom, tati kena tom, kita takatari kita tom. So it's the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still 5 beats long, but you've made it denser by adding more notes into that time flow. So this composition could use a similar structure, and what we're going to do for the ending, and you could do it with the phrases introduced as well actually, but I'm just doing it for the ending, showing an alternative ending. Instead of ta te taka te na tom, we'll have ta te kita takatari kita tom, ta te kita takatari kita tom, 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 tom, ta te kita takatari kita tom, di kita takatari kita tom, 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 ta te kita takatari kita tom, di kita takatari kita tom, 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 ta. So that's it for this play along. I'm going to put the notation up now, and you'll see the version with the Kanjira, and then the alternative ending, and then without the Kanjira, and again the alternative ending. With a lot of these things, you might need to approach it at a slower tempo. So I'm not going to put loads of different tempos on. You could use something, like Amazing Slow Downer or some sort of app to slow it down. I don't know, maybe in YouTube you can do slow different tempos and keep the pitch the same. It's important when you slow it down, try and keep the pitch the same, because otherwise it just sounds a little bit weird. So, yeah, do enjoy working on this, because it's definitely worth the time. It's a great little composition, and next time we're going to look at the same composition, but in 7/8. 3, 4, and complex ending. 3, 4, and ta ta kita taka tadi kita tom, di kita taka tadi kita tom, 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 ta ta kita taka tadi kita tom, di kita taka tadi kita tom, kita taka tadi kita tom, kita taka tadi kita tom, kita taka tadi 3, 4, and takitadinakadin, 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 ta ta takadina, takitadinakadin, 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 ta ta takadina, takitadinakadin, 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 ta takadina, takitadinakadin, takitadinakadin, takitadinakadin. Ta takadina, takitadinakadin, 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 ta takadina, takitadinakadin, 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 ta takadina, takitadinakadin, ta takadina, takitadinakadin, ta takadina, takitadinakadin, ta takadina, takitadinakadin. Ta takadina, takitadinakadin, ta takadina, takitadinakadin, ta takadina, 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 tatikitatum, 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 ta takadina, 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 tatikitatum, 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 ta takadina, 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 tatikitatum, 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 ta. More complex ending. 3, 4, and ta ta kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta 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 kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta ta di kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta 3, 4, and ta di kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta kitatakata di kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta ta di kitatakatadikitatum, di kitatakatadikitatum, 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 ta